how you see the nature of reality. It is your thought. Yes, it is simply the thought of researcher, and and that might arise the questions within you. Okay, that might arise the question within you. So what is the effect of this technology on the health of student, or the physical mental health of any student? That might be the certain question arise when you see the reality. Yes, that can be arise. So the nature of knowledge, or the what constitutes the valid knowledge, you are going to find the effect. Effect means you are going to list the effect, or you are going to find the number of students who are being affected. Yes, simply you are going to find your knowledge in terms of number, that is what is the percentage of students that are being affected by use of this technology on classroom. That is might be one question. Okay, so the valid knowledge is constituted on the number, which is the quantitative data. And if you think that there is a certain narratives or story or explanation, then it is associated with qualitative. So the nature of knowledge, or the what constitutes the valid knowledge might be constituted on in terms of number, in terms of text, in terms of narratives, in terms of picture. That is the valid knowledge. Yes, what you are going to obtain from your research, or what you are going to explore from your research, the knowledge, that is the another part. What constitutes the valid knowledge? First, you see the old from your perception. You see that it is degrading, and you formulate certain research question, and that research question will uh, generate certain answer, and that answer might be in terms of two aspect, in terms of number, in terms of text. Yes or no? There might be number, or there might be text. There might be certain numerical values, certain pie chart graph, or so on, and there might be some narrative story, or the picture, something like that. Okay, whatever it is. So these are the valid knowledge that might constitute in your research. So what valid knowledge constitute in your research, whether it is the number, or whether it is the text, you have to be clear. Yes, and other thing you have to clear how you see the reality. Suppose you think there might, this is the some reflexive process. Okay, the philosophical aspect is the some reflexive process, means you cannot obtain answer for this question searching in the internet or looking for the books. You need to ask yourself the certain question. You need to ask a question to yourself: how I see my reality. Okay, that reality is the fact that you are going to obtain, or the knowledge that you are going to explore. Okay, that is the reality. So the same reality for you might not be the same for other. They might view on this different perspective. As you can see from the theme that is provided to you, which is the IoT, Internet of Things, some might think that the IoT of Things is so much applicable in our context. It should be used in our day-to-day life for enhancement of our uh, uh, basic life, or comfortability, or so on, whatever it is. Yes, we can increase the productivity of an organization, because you see that it has been using, or it has been more emerging technology in current context, and you perceive that will gain the popularity and future, that will really help in our life. So you think that from that perspective. So you are exploring from that way. Okay, you see the reality as IIT as a future technology. That is one thing. And another thing, you might see that we are on more machine dependent. The productivity of an individual are degrading day to day, because all the thing will be done by the technology. There is no need for any mental or physical involvement on doing the task, or something like that, from user perspective. Yeah, there might be the one thing. So you see the same perspective, or same situation from the different ways, different angle. So there is the one reality for you, and there is the another reality for others. Okay, but the same context we are focusing is. But what you need to think another also, if you are going to do one thing, and suppose you think there is the one reality for me. Yes, simply again we have to separate the reality. There is one fact that I can obtain from my research, which I can measure, or which I can observe. That is the one reality for me. If that is the thing, okay, that is the thing, then this aspect of the philosophy is associated with the one of the philosophy that we are going to discuss on that example. Okay, so reality, uh, the same reality are different for individual. That is one thing. And another thing, whether you believe on only one reality or whether you believe on multiple reality. That is another thing. Okay, that is the one thing. One thing, the starting point, you see from one way and other things from other way, whatever it is, it does not matter. But in your research, suppose you are doing a research, and if you think whether you believe on one reality or multiple reality, that is the another part. Suppose you see from one perspective, you think that is the reality, and if you collect the data and somebody other thinks that the same perspective, they think from other way, there is the other reality, there is the multiple reality. So whether you are going to accept that multiple reality or whether you are going to stick with only one reality that you observe and measure from your side. So there are two things we need to consider. Yes, understand my point? The reality also, what we are going to accept in your research, that is two aspects. Okay, you have to keep that in mind because we are going to use same concept to relate with the example and other part of the research. Okay, are you clear for ontology, nature of reality?
Yes, sir.
Okay, other, because you have to understand this part. Okay, if you think I need to give other explanation or something like that, or if I'm moving fast or anything, you can give me as a feedback. Okay, and in meantime, if you do not understand, you can simply unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, so if you understand from this part, then I'll move on to the second part, which is the nature of reality. If you understand the theory of reality, I'm moving on to the theory of knowledge. Okay, so what constitutes the valid knowledge? So the valid knowledge might be in terms of number. We already discussed the valid knowledge might be, or the nature of knowledge might be in terms of number, in terms of text, okay, in terms of story, narratives, picture, or graph, pie chart, or whatever it is. Okay, that thing you are going to generate from your research. Suppose you see the reality and you say that I'm going to explain that reality. That means you are going to show the reality in terms of text. Yes, simply. And if you see the reality from one way and you think that you are, I'm going to find the numbers or I'm going to find the percentage of effect or something like that, then you are going to generate the numerical value from your research. So that indicate the theory of knowledge. Second part. Okay, understand my point? There are two dimensions. Okay, one number, another is pie chart or graph or something. That is one type of knowledge. Another is narrative, story, text, explanation. That is another type of knowledge. There are two types of knowledge. As you can see, relate the number, pie chart or something that are associated with quantitative data, and text, narrative, explanation, story are associated with the qualitative data. That means there is the quantitative knowledge and there is the qualitative knowledge. You can see relate in that way, but we mainly focus on some numerical value and textual value, that nature in high level. Okay, so can you do you understand what is epistemology? Suppose example. Okay, suppose I like to give one example.
No, sir. One more
No.
time, please.
Okay, epistemology means the theory of knowledge. What constitutes the valid knowledge of your research? What is the valid knowledge for your research? That knowledge means fact or the certain thing that we are going to explore. Suppose you find that in previous example, among 40 students, 35 of them are affected by the digital technology in negative way. That might be the knowledge you are going to explore. That is might be one kind of knowledge. Yes, in your class you study about the impact of digital technology on your ISMD college student mental health, and you find that you collect the data, analyze the data, and you found that there are 35 students out of 40 who are affected by the digital technology in their mental perspective or mental health. That is that example of finding. Up to this, you are clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that 35 out of 40, what that 35 indicates, that is the number. Yes, that is the number. So from starting, we have planned that for. Okay, from starting, the questions that we have formulated means what is the number of students that are affected by your by the information technology or IT on their mental health. That is the question that we have formulated. And what constitutes the valid knowledge? The number. You are going to find the number. You don't know how many that number will indicate. Whether you obtain the 20, whether you 30 or whatever it is. You are not sure. Are you sure? No. You are only sure you are going to generate a number. or the outcome in terms of number. You are clear from your research question? Yes, are you clear from this point?
Yes, sir.
है रिसर्च क्वेसनमा चाहिँ तपाईँको क्वेसन्स हुन्छ अब क्वेसन लेख्छौँ नि हामीले वाट इज द पर्सेन्टेज अफ स्टुडेन्ट द्याट आर बिन एफेक्टेड बाई द डिजिटल इन्फर्मेसन टेक्नोलोजी आर आइटी अन देयर मेन्टल हेल्थ त्यो एउटा क्वेसन होला अर्को भनेको हाउ द स्टुडेन्ट आर बिङ एफेक्टेड अर्को क्वेसन होला वाइ दे आर बिङ एफेक्टेड अर्को क्वेसन होला तिनवटा क्वेसन भयो मानौँ एक्जाम्पल भनेपछि तपाईँको रिसर्चको भ्यालिड नलेज भनेको के हुन्छ अब कति पर्सेन्टेज आउँछ यु आर नट स्योर तर पहिलो क्वेसनले के चाहिँ डिमान्ड गरिरहेछ नम्बर हो किन भन्नु त पहिलो क्वेसनको एन्सरले के एन्सर चाहिँ डिमान्ड गरिरहेछ एन्सर इन टर्म्स अफ नम्बर सो द भ्यालिड नलेज फर द्याट पर्टिकुलर क्वेसन्स इज द नम्बर होइन अब नलेज भनेको दुईवटा कुरामा हुन्छ भने मैले एउटा टेक्स्टमा हुन्छ न्यारेटिभ हुन्छ स्टोरी हुन्छ त्यो एउटा क्याटेगोरी हो अर्को भनेको नम्बर हुन्छ पाइचार्ट हुन्छ अलिकति अब्जेक्टिभ टाइप अफ नलेज हुन्छ एउटा सब्जेक्टिभ टाइप अफ नलेज हुन्छ दुईवटा होइन त्यो टाइपको नलेजलाई चाहिँ के गरेको भनेदेखि सेपरेट गराएको हामीलाई कस्तो खाले आउनुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा थाहा हुनु पर्यो रिसर्चमा के नै आउँछ भन्ने थाहा हुन्छ जस्तै नम्बर आउनुपर्छ थाहा छ तर कति पर्सेन्टेज आउँछ वी आर नट क्लियर नि त नम्बर त आउनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरा त सुरुमै थाहा हुन्छ नि हो किन भन्नु त तपाईँको रिसर्च क्वेसन मैले अघिदेखि भने रिसर्च क्वेसनमै इन्डिकेट भएको छ नि त तपाईँ के कुरा फाइन्ड आउट गर्ने भने त्यो फाइन्ड आउट गर्ने कुराले के कुरालाई चाहिँ एक्सप्लोर गर्छ भन्ने कुरा त त्यही देखिया छ इफ यु से वाइ भन्ने बित्तिकै देयर इज द एक्सप्लेनेसन भन्ने बित्तिकै के हुन्छ त्यहाँ टेक्स्ट हुन्छ होइन त के आउँछ एक्सप्लेनेसन यु डोन्ट नो तर तपाईँको एन्सर इन टर्म्स अफ टेक्स्ट चाहिँ आउनु पर्यो यु सुड बी क्लियर फर्स्ट होइन अर्को भनेको नम्बर वाट इज द पर्सेन्टेज आइ एम आस्किङ द्याट क्वेसन सो तपाईँले के भन्नुहुन्छ भने तपाईँको भ्यालिड नलेज के हो इन टर्म्स अफ नम्बर हो तर कति नम्बर आउँछ यु आर नट स्योर त्यो त रिसर्च पछि आउने कुरा हो पर्सेन्टेज होइन यति पर्सेन्टेजहरू एफेक्टेड भएको छ अथवा 80% बेनिफिट भएको छ भन्ने कुरा रिसर्च पछि आउने कुरा हो तर तपाईँको रिसर्चको नलेज चाहिँ नम्बरमा जेनेरेट हुनुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ पहिले के हुन्छ एक्सप्लोर हुन्छ थाहा हुन्छ सो द्याट इज द थ्योरी अफ नलेज तपाईँले एक्सप्लोर गर्ने नलेज के को टर्ममा छ त नम्बरको टर्ममा छ कि टेक्स्टको टर्ममा छ भनेर भन्न खोजेको पहिला बुझ्नुभयो यो एपिस्टेमोलोजी अहिले अझ अरू
Yes, sir.
है अब एक्जियोलोजी भनेको त्यति धेरै युज हुँदैन वी डु नट युज द्याट एक्जियोलोजी इन आवर कन्टेक्स्ट मोस्टली बिकज इट इज द थ्योरी अफ भ्यालु अर द बिलिफ of the researcher and the participant if there is any okay suppose you believe certain thing on that particular context you see the reality from one perspective and if you think that there is certain belief within you and that will affect the outcome of the research okay simply listen to me the knowledge that you explore from the research and there is certain knowledge within you from your belief system and you think that that belief system will affect the research outcome then that is called the axiology that is the theory of value okay the theory of value or belief system is simply the axiology and whether that affect to your research or not that is you have to consider okay so axiology simply refers to the value and belief system of the researcher and of those participant okay simply the axiology refers to the value and belief of a researcher or participant रिसर्चर र कुनै पार्टिसिपेन्टको मूल्य मान्यता भन्छ नि आफूले मैले यो मेरो मूल्य मान्यता यो छ म यो सोच्छु म पहिलेदेखि यो क्याटेगोरी अथवा यो संस्कारमा हुर्केको यस्तो हो उस्तो हो भन्ने एउटा टाइपको हुन्छ नि भित्रपट्टि मान्छेको मूल्य मान्यता भन्छ नि म यो कुरालाई मान्छु यो कुरालाई मान्दिनँ मेरो लागि यो महत्त्वपूर्ण छ मेरो लागि यो महत्त्वपूर्ण छैन भन्छ नि मान्छेले हो किन भन्नु त हो त्यस्तो कुराहरूलाई चाहिँ एक्जियोलोजीले डिफाइन गर्छ है त बुझ्यो एक्जियोलोजी क्लियर एक्जियोलोजी अझ बढी क्लियरै हुन्छ अहिलेलाई मैले भन्न खोजेको सिम्पल मिनिङमा चाहिँ आर क्लियर फ्रम द्याट point
Yes, sir.
so now simply the logic is the theory of reasoning means you are going to explain okay why or how you see that reality what constitutes the valid knowledge whether the belief system of you affect the research or not you are going to give the reason okay so logic is the theory of reasoning and logic or the coherence logic okay coherent logic is associated entirely throughout research whatever you do the title selection you have to give the explanation you have already known that part in chapter 2 you have to give reason for choosing this project so there is the theory of reasoning behind the topic that you have selected Yes, so each and every step that you do in your research step, okay, that method, you have to provide some logic, that is the reasoning. You have to provide the theory of reasoning behind that method or procedure, okay, that you have to understand. That is the one part. Again, we'll move on depth, okay. So the basic concept, okay, basic concept. So these are the research onion. We are focusing on this part. You need not to focus more deeply on this aspect, but if you understand this in some way, then that will be very beneficial for you to conduct the research in other aspects. So I am covering that part, okay. If from syllabus point of view, it has indicated to discuss the research onion, okay. So for discussing the research onion and understanding that onion very clearly, I am dividing, or I am taking certain aspect of the research philosophy also, okay. But that philosophy are not indicated in your syllabus, but also it need to be understand to understand that research onion. So I'm covering from that perspective, okay. You might feel it is difficult to understand this aspect, okay, since these are some certain philosophical things, means that need to be arise from yourself, okay. Nobody will give you insight how you see the reality, or what is the valid knowledge for your research, or the axiology, okay, what is the value of you, or the belief system that you have, and that affect the research or not. Nobody will provide that kind of knowledge to you. It is you that need to generate answer for this question, okay. So that process is called reflexive process, okay. Reflexive, reflection and reflexive are the two things, okay. Reflection, when you do the task, you visit that experience and you analyze that experience and come to a learning, whether it is the positive learning or whether it is negative learning. You reflect in that way based on your past experience. But this is the reflexive process, means you need to ask yourself inside. You have to ask, okay. Inside you have to ask, in what way you are seeing the reality, what is the valid knowledge, or what constitutes the valid knowledge for your my research, okay. And the belief on that particular context, if there is any belief system that exists, that you have to ask yourself, okay. So moving on to the ontology again. So how you see this old, okay. Describe our view on nature of reality, that I have already mentioned. Describe our view on nature of reality. What is the nature of reality, okay. So when you say these kind of things, okay, when you say um, there is also include what is your belief system, because how you see the world will be affected by your belief system also, okay. How you see your world or nature of reality will be affected by your belief system, or in some way it might influence, okay. You have to understand that part. And what is the reality for you or for your research. So suppose you are going to find that effect of this information technology on ISMT college student mental health. So then from that research, what is the reality for you, and what is the reality for the research? What reality that is going to be explored by your research? Then that thing you need to understand, okay. And there is a two aspect of ontology, which is the objectivism and subjectivism, okay. So this part I think there is the classwork for that part, okay. So I, I will first give you classwork on this part, and I will explain about the two aspects of ontology. Okay. So yeah, from ontology, epistemology and axiology are very simple to understand. Okay. The source of knowledge. How do you verify the knowledge? Means that simply take, okay. The research should generate the outcome in terms of number, or the research should generate knowledge in terms of text. That you need to be clear from simple aspect, right? तपाईँको रिसर्चले चाहिँ आउटकम टेक्स्टमा दिनुपर्ने हो कि नम्बरमा हो कि अथवा दुवैमा हो, त्यो कुरा चाहिँ केले इन्डिकेट गर्छ? Epistemology, that is source of knowledge in your research, okay. Valid source of knowledge, that indicate. So the theory of value, actually what value system are you in, तपाईँ कुन चाहिँ भ्यालु सिस्टममा बसेर काम गरिरहनु भएको छ, अनि एउटा सिस्टम होला। अब छैन भने एक्जियोलोजीलाई त्यति धेरै टेपली हामी लिँदैन हैन, अन्टोलोजीलाई एपिस्टेमोलोजी भयो नि पुग्छ। किनभने हामी के भन्छ, वी आर डुइङ आवर रिसर्च फ्रम सम empirical way, means we are the student of science, okay. We are a student of science and IT, We are not a student of social science. Okay, since this research cover this philosophy cover the different dimension of our education system, that means whenever you use, okay, whenever or whatever context you use, it is applicable. That means ontology, epistemology, and axiology, any field of study of research, this is applicable. It might be there are two things we study. One is the pure science, yes. So one is the basics, so natural science. Another is the social science. Two extrema of education. One is the natural science, another is the social science. In natural science, there are two branches. One is the pure science, another is the applied science. In pure science, you study the physics, chemistry, biology, and so on. In applied science, you study the engineering or something, technical things. Yes. So we mainly focus on one aspect. Okay, one of the study, that is the natural science. We mainly focus on the natural science, and other dimension which is study the social science. That means anthropology, sociology, and humanities or something. There are the branch, other branch of the society. So if you fall on one category of study and if you fall on another category of study, there can be the different perception, different epistemology, different axiology. Okay, so we are focusing on one branch of that study. We are focusing on the natural science. In natural science also we are focusing on applied science. Okay, we are focusing on that part. So can you please search do this classwork for me? Okay, objectivism versus subject, just the definition, what you understand. Okay, in your own language, if you provide that answer, it will be very suitable. Otherwise also the simple term, how the objectivism and subjectivism will be defined on research. Then I will move to that description. Okay, and logic you can understand. Objectivism and subjectivism. These are the two aspects of ontology. So looking onto that part, can we have studied about the research philosophy? Okay, we have not defined that term. So can anybody define the term research philosophy also? If you are interested, you can define the term research philosophy. Okay, we have not defined that part. We have just simply defined the philosophy, which is the theory of reasoning. Yes, we have defined that part. So philosophy of the research is the methodology. We simply define on that, and we move on to the part of the philosophy. Okay, but we have not defined the term research philosophy. So if you are interested, you can define that term also. Okay, research philosophy. When you first do what is subjectivism versus objectivism, then you can define the term research philosophy. No need to search for bigger definition, just one line definition or one understanding for objectivism and subjectivism regarding the ontology. Okay, there might be the different definition in different context, but we are seeing that definition from the research point of view, and from that also we are more on focus on ontology or the reality. We are focusing on the reality. Okay, that ontology, which can be broadly classified into two aspects. You can see the reality from objective point of view or subjective point of view. That is the thing. Okay. Okay, we have obtained our answer. Research philosophy. Yes, it is the development of knowledge and nature of that knowledge development. Yes, that's absolutely. So can you define the objectivism? There is the objectivism in the theory stating the validity of neutral phenomena over subjective experience. Okay, that is something broader. Subjective Subjectivism is a theory that limits knowledge to the personal experience, research, philosophy, and belief about the way in which data should be gathered, analyzed, and used. So that is the development of the knowledge. Yes, the philosophy definition also correct. Subjectivism is also correct, but objectivism, it is broader. Okay, it is focusing more broader. Where we want something specific on our level of understanding. We want something. What's that objectivism simply indicate in our context? We need to able to relate that thing. And what that subjectivism? Subjectivism you have already known. Yes, the knowledge which you can experience or you can found from the personal experience is the subjectivism. That is, you are going to focus. There is the some certain limit on subjective knowledge. Objective knowledge is the validity of neutral phenomenon or the subject. Means what that indicate. Neutral phenomena, what that indicate. Do you understand or not? You might not. Okay, so let's see for other answer. Okay, whether that will make the definition of objectivism and subjectivism more simple or not. Let's see. Okay, you are also correct. Okay, but from the broader perspective, okay, it is from the broader perspective. We want to relate that definition in our context. There are two aspects of ontology. There are two aspects of ontology. One is the objectivism, another is the subjectivism. Okay, and regarding the philosophy definition of research philosophy, you both are correct from that point. Okay, simply the research philosophy is the overarching term. Okay, overarching term means that embark or embrace overall whole aspect of development of knowledge and nature of that development of knowledge. Okay, so that is the thing. That definition that we have provided is absolutely correct. Okay, research philosophy. It's okay. Now, can anybody provide regarding the objectivism? Okay. Objective known as the positivism, where the social entity exists in reality external to the social actor concerned with their existence. So that is the best definition. Yes, that is the best definition in the context of research. You have written the positivism also there. So we are going to discuss that as an example. You can see in a inner layer of the philosophy, there is the positivism and interpretism. Yes, so we have related that thing in that context. So it will be very clear for you also. So, and subjectivism is also known as the constructivism or interpretism, which says that the social phenomena are created from the perception and consequent action of those social actors concerned with their existence. So that is the very, very authenticate definition. Okay, that is the definition we study from the research for business student, and that is given by the writer Mark Sounder. Okay, I really appreciate that thing. So, what you understand from okay, there is other. So the research philosophy is simply the process in which data should be gathered, analyzed, and used. So simply the research philosophy. Okay, philosophy, the definition I'm going to support uh, the definition of Ganesh Chaudhary, and that is the nature of that knowledge. Okay, nature of that research philosophy means development of knowledge and the nature of that knowledge. Okay, so you are going to focus on that part. Other definition are okay. So the objectivism. So can you please do you understand from your definition, Rahul, what is says?
Example, objectivism example would be people who are using laptop in IT college, and we are checking the reality that IT laptop helps in IT field or in university college. That would be the example, maybe,
Yes, that is the one
because it's
example.
positivism.
Objectivism means you are going to improve the experience of certain phenomena. So there is the term, you can see there is the term social entity and social actor. Okay, so if you understand this, this is not in our course. No need to explain or elaborate in broader term, but just for your understanding. Okay, I'm just giving for your understanding. That objectivism means whatever you do, you simply see the reality from what you can see and observe or measure. Just that is the thing. तपाईँले जुन कुरा मेजर गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ, अब्जर्भ गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ, त्यही मात्र तपाईँको लागि रियालिटी हो। बुझ्नुभयो? त्यो एउटा भनेको अब्जेक्टिभिजम। म दायाँमा कसैको पनि ओपिनियन पनि लिन्न, मेरो ओपिनियन पनि राख्दिनँ, कसैले के भने भन्दिनँ, के पनि भन्दिनँ। जस्तो एउटा मैले रुख छ अरे, कसैले त्यो पिपलको रुख भन्ला, कसैले बरको रुख भन्ला, कसले कसको रुख भन्ला, हैन? अब मैले सब्जेक्टिभिजम भयो भने मैले के गर्छु, यो रुखलाई चाहिँ यो भन्दो रहेछ, अनि धेरै जस्तो मान्छेले यो भने भएर यो रुख चाहिँ यो हो भनेर मैले कन्क्लुजन ड्र गर्न सक्छु नि। मानव मैले 100 जनाले चाहिँ 100 जनामा 80 जनाले बर पिपल भनेर मैले बर पिपल भन्यो भने द्याट इज द कन्क्लुजन द्याट आई हेभ ड्रन फ्रम द एक्सपिरियन्स अफ द पिपुल। हो कि भने त मेरो कन्क्लुजन कहाँबाट आयो? पिपुलको एक्सपिरियन्सबाट आएको कुरा हो नि, हैन त? उनीहरूले सोसाइटीमा बस्दाखेरि दुईटै कुरा जानेको छ, बुझेको छ भनेर पो मैले त्यसलाई नलेजको रूपमा लिएँ। त्यो एउटा मैले हेर्न मिल्छ। अब साइन्सले के भन्छ भन्नु त, यदि बर पिपल हो भने त्यसको लिफ होला, लिफमा क्लोरोफिलको पोइन्ट होला, कसरी होला, त्यसको साइजदेखि लिएर सबै रुटमा कलर कस्तो, सबै कुरा मेजर गरिसके मात्र यसलाई कुन क्याटेगोरीमा राखेको छ, त्यो क्याटेगोरीसँग म्याच भएपछि यो रुख हो भनेर उसले क्याटेगोराइज गर्छ। हो कि भन्नु त साइन्सले सिम्पली, हो कि भन्नु त? त्यस्तै देखिने पातहरू नै उसले क्लासिफाई गरिदिन्छ नि मेजरमेन्टको टर्ममा। त्यो भनेको अब्जेक्टिभिजम। उसले बर पिपल भनोस्, त्यो बर पिपल हुन नि सक्छ, अर्कोले अर्को भनोस्, त्यो पनि हुन सक्ला। तर जे कुरा मेजर गर्न सकिन्छ र हेर्न सकिन्छ, अब्जर्भ गर्ने भने त्यसलाई फ्याक्टलाई आइडेन्टिफाई गर्न सकिन्छ, त्यसलाई मात्र के गर्न सक्ने, रियालिटीको रूपमा मान्ने, अरूले भनेको कुरालाई नमान्ने भन्यो भने द्याट इज अब्जेक्टिभिजम, हैन? अहिलेको एक्जाम्पल मैले दिएको बुझ्नुभयो? दुईटा एक्जाम्पल
Yes, sir.
है। जस्तो मानौँ एउटा मान्छेलाई ज्वरो आयो, ज्वरो आइरहेछ, उसलाई 105 आइरह्यो, एउटाले कोरोना भन्दै 10 जनाले कोरोना भने त्यो मान्छेलाई नै अर्कोले नि के भने ल यो कोरोनै हो भनेर उसले कोरोनाको उपचार गर्न थाल्यो भने द्याट इज सब्जेक्टिभिजम। किनभने एउटाको एक्सपिरियन्सले गर्दा भएको। अब्जेक्टिभिजमले के हुन्छ, पिसिआर टेस्ट गरेपछि मात्रै थाहा हुन्छ है कोरोना भएको कि नभएको, अरूले भन्दैमा हुँदैन। त्यही फ्याक्टलाई मात्र अब्जर्भ गर्यो भने ऊ छ भने छ, नभए छैन भनेर हुँदैन भन्यो भने द्याट इज अब्जेक्टिभिजम। जुन कुरा मेजर गर्न सकिन्छ, जुन कुरा अब्जर्भ गर्न सकिन्छ, है, जुन कुरा एक्सपिरियन्सबाट आएको। यस्तै मान्छे रुगा लागेको मान्छे, यस्तै जराको मान्छेलाई कोरोना भएको छ, त्यही भएर कोरोना हो भनिन्छ कि। अनि 10 जनाले भनेपछि त्यसलाई नै हामीले बिलिभ गर्छौँ रियालिटीको रूपमा भनेदेखि द्याट इज सब्जेक्टिभिजम। किनभने सोसाइटी र सोसियल एन्टिटी बिचको इन्टरेक्सनबाट आएको एक्सपिरियन्सलाई चाहिँ नलेजको रूपमा हेर्ने कि नहेर्ने, त्यो एउटा पार्ट सब्जेक्टिभिजम। त्यही भएर मोर फोकस अन सोसियल साइन्स, है। त्यो सोसियल एन्टिटी भनेको के हो भनेदेखि, सोसाइटी भनेको दुईटा कुराले बनेको हुन्छ। एउटा सोसियल एन्टिटी भन्छ, जस्तै हाम्रो घर, हैन, स्कुल, अब इनार, पानी ट्याङ्की, सबै सोसियल एन्टिटी। देयर आर द रिजल्ट, कन्सिक्वेन्स अफ द सोसियल एक्टर। हामीले सोसियल एक्टर भनेको सोसियल मेम्बर, सोसाइटीमा दुईटा कुरा, सोसियल एन्टिटी प्लस सोसियल एक्टर भनेको सोसाइटी, हैन? त्यो दुईटा कुराले मिलेर बनेको हुन्छ। अब त्यो सोसियल एन्टिटी जुन कुरा मैले स्टडी गर्दैछु र सोसियल एक्टर छ, त्यो सोसियल एन्टिटी चाहिँ सोसियल एक्टरलाई छुट्याएर मैले स्टडी गर्न सकेँ भनेदेखि अब्जेक्टिभिजम भनेको सोसियल एक्टरको ओपिनियनहरू त्यहाँ केही पनि नलिने, जे कुरा हेर्न सकिन्छ। जस्तो पानी ट्याङ्की हो भने पानी ट्याङ्कीकै क्याटेगोरीबाट मेजर र अब्जर्भ गर्न सकियो भने मात्रै त्यसलाई भन्ने, नत्र भने रिजल्ट नमान्ने, त्यसलाई अब्जेक्टिभिजम। सब्जेक्टिभिजममा चाहिँ त्यो जुन सोसियल एन्टिटी भनेको पानी ट्याङ्की, घर, अस्पताल, स्कुल सबै भनेको हाम्रो सोसियल एन्टिटी, कन्सिक्वेन्स अफ आवर सोसाइटी, सोसियल एक्टर, हैन? अब त्यो सोसियल एक्टर भनेको सोसियल मेम्बर, जुन हामी मान्छे भयौँ, त्यो मान्छे र त्यो सोसियल एन्टिटी जुन छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले छुट्याएर एनालाइज गर्न सक्दैनौँ, दुईटालाई हामीले लिएरै हेर्नुपर्छ भनेदेखि त्यस्तो कुरा चाहिँ के हुन्छ, सब्जेक्टिभिजम भने। बुझ्नुभयो? यसले भनेको त्यही हो नि त, सोसियल एन्टिटी एक्जिस्ट इन रियालिटी एक्सटर्नल टु द सोसियल एक्टर भनेको सोसियल एक्टरलाई छुट्याएर एक्सटर्नल त्यसलाई मात्रै छुट्टै हेर्ने भनेको के। चौतारा छ भने चौतारालाई मात्रै आफूले एनालाइज गर्ने, चौतारा हुन के क्राइटेरिया हुनुपर्छ, त्यो कुरा छ भने त्यसलाई चौतारा भन्ने, नत्र भने नभन्ने। अब त्यही कुरा मैले तल सब्जेक्टिभिजम पर्सपेक्टिभबाट हेरेँ भनेदेखि के हुन्छ, चौतारा हो कि होइन भन्ने कुरा त सोसाइटीमा बसेको मेम्बरलाई थाहा हुन्छ अथवा एक्टरलाई थाहा हुन्छ। भनेपछि 100 जनालाई सोध्ने, 100 मा 80 जनाले चौतारा भने त्यसलाई चौतारा भन्ने, त्यो भने द्याट इज द सब्जेक्टिभिजम। किनभने तपाईँको पर्सेप्सन हेर्नु त, एन्ड कन्सिक्वेन्ट एक्सन अफ दोज सोसियल एक्टर भनेको त्यो मेम्बरको एक्सनबाट आएको कुरा हो नि त, उनीहरूको पर्सेप्सनबाट आएको, नि त्यसले क्रिएट गरेको रियालिटी हो नि त, हैन? मैले भने बुझ्नुभयो दुईटा पोइन्ट?
Yes, sir.
सो यति बुझिसकेपछि आजलाई म यति नै गर्छु। अनि तपाईँले फेरि आफूलाई स्टडी गर्नु है, अन्टोलोजी, इस्टोलोजी, एक्जिट, आफैले पर्सनल लर्निङ गर्नु, किनभने इट विल रियली हेल्प यु फर अदर लेभल अफ स्टडी, है। म एकदमै तपाईँले यति लेभलको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ भयो भनेदेखि जुनसुकै लेभलको इट माइट बी द पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट पिएचडी सम्मको लेभलको लागि तपाईँलाई कुनै पनि के भन्छ कन्फर्म डिफिकल्टिज हुँदैन हजुर
So what about the research philosophy definition? Is it correct?
Research philosophy definition is somehow, I cannot say it is wrong. I cannot say. Simply, there is nothing wrong in the context of research. If you give the explanation or evidence, yes, we judge from that perspective. So, research philosophy, what you define is the simple term. That is the correct. The process. It overall define the process, but it also focused on the first definition. As you see, development of knowledge and nature of that knowledge. It is the over archiving terms. The term, okay, I will simply write research philosophy is an over as per the definition of Mark Sounder, okay, over archiving term which, and I can take the definition from up, okay, I can take. I'll copy the definition from Ganesh Chaudhary. Which relates, okay, relates development of knowledge and nature of that knowledge, okay. So simply you have given that definition, that is also correct, okay. That is the thing we do in a research to generate the knowledge, yes. So that is the simple definition. Research philosophy and over archiving term means it is a broader term. We cannot define on simple way. Okay, as you see, it deals with the source, nature, development of knowledge, all things you see, yes, and process, whatever. So simple term we cannot define the research philosophy. Simple definition cannot be used. It includes the broader aspect of the research. Broader aspect means it's cover all the aspect of the research that we do that indicate the collection of data, gathering, analyzing, development, nature, all things are included. So whatever you do, data collection, analysis and gathering, which is for the development of knowledge and the nature of that knowledge, yes, whether it is numerical, whether it is text or anything, that embeds the both term, yes. The philosophical definition must lies within this. It should cover the definition of ontology as well as epistemology. So that is the thing. So are you clear up to this point? If you are not, we'll continue tomorrow also. Okay, we'll continue. We'll discuss more on this research part to make you clear what research method or what philosophy is applicable in your context. You need to able to analyze. Okay, you need to able to analyze. Now we are moving. Our main concern is Okay, our main concern of this study is you need to able to choose or you need to able to analyze whether you are adapting. Can you see this research onion? Yes.
No, sir.
No.
No.
Okay, I'm sharing what is the problem. Okay, I can say so in research onion. Okay, I think the time is up. So as you see from the previous research onion, there is the example I have said, right? So research onion philosophy, the positivism, realism, interpretism र pragmatism भन्ने थियो नि. हाम्रो मेन कन्सर्न भनेको के भने म चाहिँ कुन चाहिँ फिलोसफिकल अन्डरपिनिङमा म काम गरिरहेको छु, मेरो पोजिटिजम हो कि इन्टरप्रिटिजम हो भन्ने कुराको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ, हाई लेभलको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ के, किनभने त्यही कुराले गाइड गर्छ नि त अरू कुरा. मैले यदि पोजिटिजम लिएँ भने मेरो थ्योरो एप्रोच फर थ्योरी डेभलपमेन्ट कस्तो हुने त्यसले गाइड गर्छ, त्यस पछाडि मेरो स्ट्राटेजी कस्तो हुने त्यसले गाइड गर्छ, त्यसपछि मेथड अफ चोइस के हुने त्यसले गाइड गर्छ. भनेको तपाईँको एजम्सनले नै गाइड गर्छ कि ओभरअल मेथड तपाईँको लागि कुन चाहिँ सुटेबल छ भन्ने कुरा. त्यही भएर तपाईँ त्यसमा क्लियर हुनुहुन्छ भने अदर पार्ट विल बी क्लियर फर यु. त्यति भन्नु खोजेको. हाम्रो मेन कन्सर्न भनेको यु निड टु एबल टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड विच फिलोसफिकल एस्पेक्ट द्याट यु आर गोइङ टु इम्प्लिमेन्ट इन यर रिसर्च, है. तपाईँले कुन चाहिँ फिलोसफिकल एस्पेक्टमा बसेर काम गर्ने हो भन्ने कुराको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ हामीले गेन गर्न खोजेको, त्यति मात्रै अहिलेलाई. यहाँ पोजिटिजम र इन्टरप्रिटिजमको कुरा आइसकेको छ डेफिनेसनमा, होइन, त्यो आइसकेको भएर तपाईँलाई इजी पनि हुन्छ होला. सो विल कन्टिन्यू आवर class on this research methodology tomorrow also. Okay, so if you have any questions you can ask me, otherwise I will end this meeting and we'll continue tomorrow. And you can copy the question, you can mail me or send me a message or anything, okay, regarding your confusion on any aspect of the research, or particularly specific to your own research also. If there is any questions, you can ask me. Okay, since I need to guide you throughout this research. Okay, this we mainly focus, I've already told, we mainly focus on our 20 lectures on theoretical aspect, and another 20 hours will be for your independent study. So in during that independent study, you need to consult with me regarding the proposal. You need to be able to write that proposal. Okay, that is a part of our learning phase. Though you see, you can see it is not a formal class, but we need to discuss. Okay, so I have separated accordingly. And last 20 hours is for your presentation, individual presentation that you need to do about your proposal. And after that presentation, in that presentation, I will provide you the certain feedback, and you can incorporate that feedback and submit the research proposal. Okay, that is the final outcome of the topic. Okay, that is the course. So today I will end this meeting and we'll continue our course on tomorrow. Okay.